My name is Leena Krokfors, and I come from Finland. It's very nice to be here. I'm happy and very excited to learn from you and with you. I was asked to talk a bit about Finnish educational system and where we are going at the moment, and what kind of a future we are planning or creating in Finland today. I have 5 points. I talk around 40 minutes, and I start to tell a few facts about the schooling system. Then I talk a bit about the teacher, the curriculum, the learning environment, and the future steps we take in Finland. So, why Finns' success in international tests? First, in 2000, when we got our first PISA results, we didn't understand why we were so high up in the scores. But now when I look at the Finnish schooling system, the big ideas, not maybe that big, but the ideas behind the actions in schools are boundary-crossing pedagogical practices. I talk a bit about that, what it means for us. Multi-professional collaboration, not only teachers collaborating together with principals, but also other educational actors. Then the curriculum renewal system, that's one of the things. It's kind of a pedagogical tool for us, for teachers, to develop their pedagogies and schools. And also, we try to innovate, to create new learning environments. So, high-quality schooling system that is embedded in the flexible structures with no dead ends. That's one of the principles we have in Finland. Second, we do not have national achievement testing, school rankings, nor inspectorate. We used to have all these, but not anymore, not in 40 years. I think inspectorate we ended in the beginning of 90s. And testing, of course we do testing because we want to know what happens in schools and how our students are learning. But we do sample-based testing. We do not compare our schools. Schools and teachers, they can decide how to assess themselves and their students. And I think that's one of the big issues and important points in our schooling system. Teachers, they have autonomy and power. They are empowered by the system. Well, I said it earlier, we use sample-based evaluation or of learning outcomes from developing and improving the system. We do not have student streaming. We use different kinds of mixed ability groups, support weak students, and we allocate resources to multicultural schools and diversities. So, if I summarize, in Finland, we rely on collaboration, customization, trust-based responsibility, and equity. We do not like competition, standardization, test-based accountability, or school choice. About the teachers. In Finland, teachers are autonomous, They are autonomous actors, and because of their schooling, which I'm going to talk a bit to you later, they are developers of local curriculums. So we have core curriculum and local curriculums, like municipalities and schools do their own curriculums. And teachers are the ones who are developing this local curriculum process. Here you can see our country, Finland. It is geographically very big, and we have lots of rural areas and small schools, like you here in Thailand. Like this, you can see two schools, one kind of in the western part of Finland, very rural area. As you can see, the school is very nice, surrounded environment. And the other one, very near the sea. And both of these schools, they are small schools with not that many teachers, but they have developed their own pedagogy for many years, I would say 20 years history in developing the schools and the learning environments in the schools. I use the schools as examples of the autonomy of teachers to develop the pedagogy of the school and the school culture. So this is an example of the Western school, Mahnala School. They opened their learning environment from classrooms to outside the school by crossing boundaries and finding pedagogical actors around them. There are lots of knowledge and knowing around the school. Like this school, they found partners, like you can see, Parent-Teacher Association, Fishery Collective, Rope Factory, Waste Management, Forest Association. And why these? Because schools are different. The context where schools are different. And schools, when they are developing their own curriculums, they need to take account where they are situated, who are the partners, where is the network of actors. So this is how the schools get out from the classrooms. How can teachers have this much power, autonomy? Is that okay? Can teachers manage with autonomy and power? We always say that there is a trust, that everything is a kind of a trust-based. But of course you can't trust if you don't know that teachers are worth, and they have their pedagogy in that kind of a level that they can do the decisions, the pedagogical decisions that are needed in the local level. So one of the things in Finland is that our teachers, they are highly respected professionals. And teachers know that. Teachers' profession among young people in Finland is very, very attractive. Young people, they want to be teachers. This year, I come from University of Helsinki. The intake to class teacher or primary school teacher program was 7% of the applicants. So it's, it's less than what they take to the School of Medicine or Law in University of Helsinki. So teacher training, we actually like to talk about teacher education more than training. In Finland, it's academic university-based higher education, and all teachers, they earn their masters in 5-year study programs at universities' teacher education departments. We have had this academic teacher education since the 70s, so we have developed the teacher education programs for 40 years. So it doesn't happen quickly, it takes time. Why 5 years and masters? Is it needed? We think that it's very important to create this kind of a possibility for creating the schooling system as we have. So higher conceptual level is adapted, and also research and inquiry is part of teachers' teaching stance and pedagogical thinking. And this, I would say, is the core or the goal and aim of our teacher education programs, to help students to develop their own pedagogical praxis, their own pedagogical practical theory of education. What I consider as a teacher to my students is that there is no good or bad, right or wrong act in pedagogy. I'm always asking, why are you doing this? What kind of pedagogical decision-making you have and justifications you have for your actions? And if student has good pedagogical justification and decision-making kind of a theory behind the actions, then I think that it's okay for you. I may do things differently, but we do not have to be the same. We do not have to fit in certain model. The most important thing behind the action is the thinking, the pedagogical thinking skills. Okay. So the teacher education curriculum and study program, they provide students with knowledge and skills for operating as autonomous actors in their fields and developers of local curriculums with the ability to make theory-based decisions by consuming educational research as well as producing pedagogical inquiry. That's why we think master's level study programs are needed to educate teachers. So, if I talk a few words about the future, we think in Finland that teachers' profession is in change. Teachers in the future, they are leaders of multi-professional collaboration. That means that teachers need a proper and deep understanding, not only the curriculum, but the curriculum theory behind the curriculum development. There are lots of different kinds of curriculum possibilities to choose, and teachers need to know how to develop the curriculum. The curriculum for our teachers is not only a book of norms, have-to-dos. It is a pedagogical paper to develop your own practice in your school with your community. As you can see, and we all know that the societies, they are changing. And that's why teachers' role also is in change. Future teachers, they are leaders, as I said, of multi-professional collaboration. They open the school to the society by opening the learning environments from traditional classrooms to non-formal and informal settings of learning. I talk a bit more about that. I try to give my opinion of why this is important later. But of course, like here in Finland, I think this is the common knowledge. We have libraries, science centers, museums. They are already well established and ready to operate with us. New associates from the third sector and public-private sectors are needed. Other actors need also to be taken in. Together, we develop the future school in the changing society. Few words about the curriculum. So in Finland we have a core curriculum. Actually the newest renewal with the core ended 2014, last year. And now schools have 1 year or 2 years' time to create their own curriculums. And they start August 2016 with their renewed curriculums. From subjects to topics. There has been a very, very vivid international discussion around the renewal in Finland. What is it Finland is doing, they ask. You know, media from all US and European countries, they want to come to Finland and ask, what are you doing? From subjects to topics. Why? You are performing well already. Why don't you just keep in there? Just stay there and don't do anything. Keep it as it is. No, we can't do that. We actually haven't been reforming or renewing or developing our school system or our schools and curriculums because of the test. It's just happened that we have been so successful in PISA and TIMSS and other scoring elements we have together. Yes. So now they think that we are kind of forgetting subject-based knowledge or subject knowledge and the creation and accumulation of subject knowledge. And we just kind of change it totally to topics and projects and themes. Well, we are not doing that. We still highly appreciate and rely on subject matter knowledge. The ontological and methodological structures of each subject, because we think that that gives the basis of understanding the world in a civilized way, in a common civilized democratic way. It gives the tools for children to understand the world and to kind of find their context and place in the world. I think it was very, very nicely said what Professor Walters in the morning was talking about the tree, to understand, you know, how the knowledge is created and how the knowledge develops. And what is the knowledge creation and knowing systems? There is not just ready knowledge or right knowledge, but the knowledge is all the time changing. And that's why we need to have an understanding of subject and subject matter. But at the same time, we need more skills in the rapidly changing world. I think all of us speakers today have been underlining this change from what to how and why? We need to shift. We need both of them, but still there must be a better way of understanding the future. So knowledge co-creation, it needs interactional skills, innovations that we are not doing alone, and we are doing these things together. And also, the curriculum development processes are more understandable if we look at this picture. This is from our research project, Omni School, that has been going on for 5 years now and funded by the government. So when we talk about formal learning, we have to also notice that there is lots of informal learning contexts. Learning environments can be seen as physical and more nowadays in virtual places and spaces. So if you look, I don't know if I can point. No, I can't. If you look to the left down corner, when we are talking about formal learning in physical learning environment, we talk about the traditional classroom learning. And you can see the picture there. The tables are very much the same as in many countries. No talking together, no working together. But nowadays, when we are talking about the formal school learning environments, we use ICT. We find virtual possibilities, of course, in schools too. Like, I'm very kind of a critical towards whiteboards. They doesn't change anything if there is no communication between people, if there is not a common goal. Whiteboards or blackboards, it's the same. If teacher is in the front and everybody is listening, the same talk. E-learning materials in Finland, they are now very common. Most of the publishers, they have just changed their textbooks to virtual e-learning materials. Nothing much is changing there if we do not understand the virtual elements in the informal life. When we get to the virtual informal settings of learning, we know that students nowadays, pupils, they know more than teachers. They are the ones who teach us where to find knowledge, how to use your equipments. So funds of knowledge in social media and internet is the digitalization. It's taking place in Finland in a very, very rapid way. And like in my research group, we have been studying pop-up schools, teaching each other, learning from each other, pupils teaching teachers in ICT skills. So we are changing the roles also there. Teachers are not the owners of the knowledge, and teachers are not the ones who know the right answers. But teachers are needed even more in future schools than nowadays, because they need to help students to understand how to work with funds of knowledge, how to be critical, how to work together. And of course, we need to know how would I say, when we are talking about the physical, informal settings of learning, out of school activities, materials, and tools. In Finland, we have very short school days in Finland. People normally, they start around 9 o'clock. 8, 9, and then the school day, it's maybe 5 hours or less. It must be 3 hours. That's the shortest day you can have, but anyway, it's from 3 hours to 6 hours, or sometimes 7 hours. But we also do have after-school clubs, but they are more like not for the school tasks. They are for fun and play and sports and activities together, but not the formal school tests or preparing your your next test or something like that. Here I just show you quickly how these two schools I showed you as examples have created their curriculums. They work together from preschool to 6th grade. They every year they have a very long period, some kind of a workshop or a project. In preschool, in this Mahnala school, they learn about the nature because it's an environmental school. They have chosen that kind of a structure. They go to schoolyard, including the forests. They have a common actor from the outside the school network. And like this, when children, when they start from preschool, they have, in 6 or 7 years, they have 7 projects where they have worked outside the school with actors, multi-professional actors in many different kinds of learning environments. And teachers are the leaders of this process. And teachers, as a team in the school, create the curriculum solutions for this kind of a work. So it's not just fun when you go to a farm or when you go to look at the sheep farm. It's not just something extra, but it's very much in the curriculum. So if I conclude this curriculum part, I would say that topics will be a possibility if we understand the rigor of the subjects. Subject matter still is in the center of our scaffolding, of our understanding. Combining our essence of knowing gives us a future challenge and possibility to go further to the phenomena of the opening future. Now, a few words about the new learning environments. Schools are here, very typical Finnish schools. These, as you saw, the first 2 schools, they were rural area schools. And these schools are from Helsinki area, the metropolitan area. But now I have to tell you that when we are talking about the capital of Finland or the metropolitan area of Finland, we are talking about, like you here in Bangkok, you have 10 million people living here. We have 6 million in Finland, and in the metropolitan area around 5,000 to 8,000 100 people. So the scale is totally different. But still, children, they go to schools. Schools are buildings, and they are situated in the local area. In Finland, we have this idea that because we have a public school system, kids, they go to the nearest school where they live. Like when I have two sons and they are now adults, but when they started their school, the school was, let's say, 400 meters where we lived. And first, of course, me and my husband, we took the kids to the school and were waiting when the day was ending. And then they went to a park to play when we were working. And very soon, they started to walk there alone. And teachers and the persons in the park took care of them during the day. But still, we do not have these transportation problems because we want to choose the schools very near where we live. And that's possible because all schools, when we have these PISA results, we know that there are no differences between the schools. There may be differences inside the school between teachers, but when we are comparing Finnish schools, they have the same level, standard level of student performing. Okay, so schools are here, but they are also here. This is maybe the big idea we have now in Finland. There are two big words when talking about education. Our Prime Minister is giving money, or the government is giving money now for knowing more, understanding the possibilities of digitalization and new learning environments. That's the head. That's where we are heading in the future. Why? Some facts for the decision making. Here you have, if you look the vertical part of the picture, it's kind of the lifetime when you born to the retirement. And when you look at the other part, what is this? Horizontal or vertical part, you can see the around 16 wakening hours. And when we are talking about the formal school, the comprehensive school, grades from 1st to 12, it is counted, this one is from USA, but anyway, in Finland we have the same idea, that formal learning environments, children are learning only around from 20 to 30% of their learning in formal environments. And the rest of learning experiences are from informal learning environments. So we need to take into the consideration what's happening in informal learning environments. Also, if you look the day, AM, PM, breakfast, school, break, school, after school, evening, what is the environment giving, or what are students doing in their environment? You can see that there is a gap between formal and informal. In informal settings, children, they game, they use their cell phones, internet, newspapers, magazines, radio, TV, and in schools, there is a big gap. And if children are learning totally differently in schools and in informal settings, it's not going to be good for their development and their future. So, the future, what we are having in our minds in Finland. We think that we need to develop omnipresent pedagogy, where the formal school stretches out to informal learning environments. So it means that we need to develop pedagogical processes, contexts, and curriculum so that the future school could be somewhere stretching out from this school to the informal world. Why do we think this is worthwhile or important to develop schools to this direction? It's all about pupils, children, students' agency. Agency here means the power of being a critical citizen in the future, develop the culture, and keep what is important. There is always, when developing the culture, there is always something that we think in different cultures that is important to keep and nourish and give worth. But at the same time, things have to change. So, students' agency, understanding oneself and the community. That's the reason why we want to develop schools, the school system, the curriculum, and the teacher education. Thank you. You can go and check the kaikkialla.fi. It's a participatory network community for Finnish and other teachers too. Thank you.